Maybe that Catholic-cum-avant-garde magazine got on his nerves. Maybe that day he was fed up with Catholicism and the avant-garde in every shape and form, devout Catholic though he was. Or maybe again, at that particular moment of the particular summer then glittering over Lisbon, with all that bulk of his flesh weighing him down, he detested the idea of the resurrection of the body. But the fact is, he set about copying out the article, possibly so as to chuck the magazine away as soon as possible. He didn't copy all of it, he maintains, only a few lines, which he can document, and which read as follows. The relationship that most profoundly and universally characterizes our sense of being is that of life with death, because the limits imposed on our existence by death are crucial to the understanding and evaluation of life. He then picked up the telephone directory and said to himself, Rossi, what an unusual name. There can't be more than one Rossi in the telephone book. He dialed a number. He remembers the number well, he maintains, and heard a voice at the other end say, hello. Hello, said Pereira. This is the Lisboa speaking. And the voice said, yes? Well, said Pereira, he maintains, the Lisboa is a Lisbon newspaper founded a few months ago. I don't know whether you have seen it. We are non-political and independent, but we believe in the soul. That is to say, we have Roman Catholic tendencies, and I would like to speak to Mr. Monteiro Rossi. At the other end, Pereira maintains, there was a moment's silence, and then the voice said it was Monteiro Rossi speaking, and that he didn't give a great deal of thought to the soul. Pereira, in turn, was silent for a moment or two, for to him it seemed strange, he maintains, that a person who had penned such profound reflections on death should not give much thought to the soul. He therefore assumed there must be some misunderstanding, and at once his mind flew to that resurrection of the body which was a fixation of his, and he said he had read an article on death by Monteiro Rossi, adding that he too, Pereira, did not believe in the resurrection of the body, if that was what Monteiro Rossi had in mind. In a word, Pereira got flustered, and he was angry, mainly with himself, he maintains, at having gone to all this trouble of ringing up a stranger and speaking of delicate and, indeed, intimate matters such as the soul and the resurrection of the body. Pereira could have cursed himself, he maintains, and at first even thought of hanging up. But then, for some reason, he summoned the strength to continue, and said his name was Pereira, Dr. Pereira, that he edited the culture page of the Lisboa, and that, admittedly for the time being, the Lisboa was an evening paper, and therefore not in the same league as other newspapers of the capital, but he was sure it would, sooner or later, make its mark. And it was true that, just now, the Lisboa devoted most of its space to society news. But, in a word, they had now decided to publish a culture page, to come out on Saturdays, and the editorial staff was not yet complete, so he needed an outside contributor to do a regular feature. Pereira maintains that Monteiro Rossi muttered he would come to the office that very day, adding that the work interested him, that any work interested him, because, yes, the fact was he badly needed work, now that he'd finished at university and had to earn his own living. But Pereira had the foresight to say, no, not in the office for the moment. Perhaps it was best to make an appointment to meet somewhere in town. He said this, he maintains, because he had no wish to invite a stranger to that dismal little room in Rua Rodrigo de Fonseca, with the wheeze of its asthmatic fan and the eternal smell of frying spread abroad by the caretaker, a harridan, who cast everyone suspicious looks and did nothing but fry. Nor did he want a stranger to know that the culture staff of the Lisboa consisted solely of himself, Pereira, one man sweating with heat and discomfort in that squalid cubbyhole, and, in a word, Pereira